Hello everyone, welcome back to Believers IAS Academy. My name is Arch and we have started this comprehensive revision program for Prelims 2021. So we have already released 5 videos. Today is the 6th video. So today we are going to cover polity question which UPSC has asked in the year 2020. So we have already covered environment in science and tech. So in the last year, 2020, UPSC has asked 15 questions from environment and 12 questions from science and technology. So from polity, UPSC has asked 15 questions. So today we are going to cover those questions. We will check the difficulty level, what kind of questions UPSC is asking. So we are starting. First question, a parliamentary system of government is one in which, so it is a conceptual question, So last year UPSC asked is 5-6 questions in which they are trying to test your conceptual knowledge, whether you know about polity, all the conceptual thing. So parliament, A, all political parties in parliament are represented in the government. So the presidential system which is followed in USA, in which the legislature it is not responsible to the executive is not responsible to the legislature. Executive organ is not responsible to the legislative organ, and in India we follow parliamentary system in which the executive, the cabinet, it is responsible to the lower house like Lok Sabha. So in parliamentary system, executive organ is responsible, accountable to the legislature. So this is not the answer. The government is responsible to the parliament and can be removed by it. So again, Article 75, Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. So this is the correct answer. Statement number B. We'll read C and D as well. The government is elected by the people and can be removed by them. It's a basic principle of democracy. This is not the answer. The government is chosen by the parliament but cannot be removed by it before completion of a fixed term. So again, this is a very wrong statement. So B is the answer, parliamentary system. So they want to check whether it's a very easy question. So in polity, if you are thorough with Lakshmikant and NCERT, you can almost attempt all the questions. Previously they asked 15 questions. So if you are thorough with Lakshmikant and NCERT, so it is a very certain area. Very certain. See other parts, the dynamic portion, your science and technology, your environment, your economics, IR, that's a very uncertain section. If you read 15, 20 or 50 national park or Ramsar site, whatever, there is no surety that they are going to ask questions from that area. But here in polity, if you are thorough with Lakshmikant and NCERT, if your concepts are very clear, then you can easily attempt all the questions. So here you cannot miss. So before your exam, just try to revise Lakshmikant at least 2 times. Now only less than 30 days are remaining. So at least 2 times, and also go through the NCERT. The second question. In the context of India, which one of the following is the characteristic appropriate for bureaucracy? So we know the system of government. So there is a government, executive organ, legislative organ. So this executive, it is a decision making body, and your legislature, which is your parliament, the upper house, lower house, state legislature, they make laws. But the bureaucracy, the bureaucrats for which you all are preparing, they have to do public administration work. So at the ground level, they have to implement all the policies. So all the policies and all the rules which this executive and legislative has made. So it is an implementing body, bureaucracy. So we'll see A, an agency widening the scope of parliamentary democracy. So again, this is, they are this is indicating the panchayati system, democratic decentralization. So this is not the answer. B, an agency for strengthening the structure of federalism. So again, somewhere it is also indicating to the democratic decentralization, and so this is not the answer. An agency for facilitating political stability and economic growth. So again, so this is not the answer. An agency for the implementation of public policy. So this is the work of your bureaucrats, the bureaucracy organ. So D is the answer. Again, this question is a very easy question. The previous one was easy. If your concepts are clear, if you know about the functioning of the government, you can easily make this statement correct. Even in NCERT, they have given this. So, very easy question. Third question, a constitutional government by definition is a... So, what do you mean by a constitution? A rule book. So the purpose of constitution and why we need constitution for why any democratic country need constitution. So the purpose of constitution is that not a single organ of government, be it executive, legislature or judiciary, they cannot work arbitrarily. They cannot do whatever they wish. They cannot do. So there are certain rules which are enshrined in constitution, which are there in constitution. So they have to adhere to those laws, to those rules. So that is the purpose of constitution. That's why we adopt constitution. So government by legislature, again wrong. Popular government, wrong. Multi-party government, no. Limited government. So in the constitution we have fundamental rights, DPSP, fundamental duties, everything. So in fundamental rights, it has privilege for all the citizens residing in India. So it is limiting government's power, some fundamental rights. Even the directive principle, it's a directive to the government. So D is the answer, limited government. Again, a very easy question. If you have conceptual knowledge about the subject, you can easily make this question correct. So 3 questions we have seen, all the 3 questions are very easy. Question number 4. Rajya Sabha has equal powers with Lok Sabha in. So Rajya Sabha has on 3 occasions, Rajya Sabha has more power than Lok Sabha. Apart from this, Lok Sabha has more power than Rajya Sabha. So your parliament chapter in Lakshmikant, it is the lengthiest chapter in Lakshmikant. So you must read this chapter, you must revise this chapter 2 to 3 times before the exam. The matter of creating a new All India service. So your Rajya Sabha has more power than Lok Sabha. So they are not on the same page. No, not equal powers. So this is not your answer. Amending the constitution, removal of the government. So here in Article 75, it is mentioned that the Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to the lower house, Lok Sabha. So here Lok Sabha has more power than Rajya Sabha, and making cut motions again. Here on Rajya Sabha has only a recommendatory role, so Lok Sabha has more power. So B is the answer, amending the constitution. So any constitutional bill, it has to be passed by both the houses with special majority. So both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, has equal power. So it is B is the correct answer. Again, a very easy question. So the purpose, why I'm explaining past year question, previous year question, the purpose is that right now I know you all are very anxious, you all are giving mock test and all. This is just to boost your confidence, just to boost your preparation that this kind of question they are asking. A very conceptual question from the NCERT and from Lakshmikant. Next question, which part of the Constitution of India declares the ideal of welfare state? So welfare state, again, a very conceptual question, welfare state. So what do you mean by welfare state? It's an affirmative action, you can say. Affirmative action on all the developmental activities which government do for the nation. For vulnerable section, government do this affirmative action and to take them on the same page with the other society of the nation. So this welfare state, it is mentioned in Article 38, which is your DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policy. So DPSP is basically directives, instruction. So in Government of India Act of 1935, DPSP were known as instrument of instruction, and after our constitution, after the independence, it is known as DPSP, Directive Principle of State Policy. So welfare state, also you might get confused with fundamental rights, because in FR, in Article 15, 16, there are reservation provisions. So that's also part of welfare state. The preamble is talking about justice, social, political, economic. It is also part of welfare state. You can say preamble is giving power, can also lead to welfare state. The 7th schedule, again, separation of power. But here, in which part of the constitution? That is part number 4. Part 4 of the constitution. In DPSP, in Article 38, they have explicitly mentioned this welfare term. So DPSP is your correct answer, Directive Principle of State Policy. So you might get confused with fundamental rights and preamble, but again, DPSP is the correct answer. If you read DPSP thoroughly, Article 38, you can easily solve this question. Again, a very easy question. The next question. In India, separation of judiciary from executive is enjoined by separation, so judiciary and your executive. So many of the aspirant who has given test law in 2020, they mark this C, 7th schedule. So here 7th schedule is talking about separation of power between your central and state governments. So in the 7th schedule, they've enshrined this central list, union list, state list, and your concurrent list. So that's a different thing. This separation, they are talking about judiciary and executive. So in your DPSP, so you have 3 type of DPSP. You have read in your Lakshmikant, Gandhi, and then socialist, and then liberal. So in liberal, Article 50, it is talking about separation of judiciary and executive. So your B is the correct answer, DPSP. This 7th schedule, again a separation of power, but it is between your central union government and your state government. So B is the answer. Again, you see, very easy question. They are directly asking question from Lakshmikant and your NCRTs. So that's why I'm again reiterating that before the exam, go through Lakshmikant and NCRT 2 to 3 times. Just a screening. So next question, which one of the following categories of the fundamental rights incorporates protection against untouchability as a form of discrimination? So till now we have seen questions from DPSP, 2 questions from fundamental rights. Again, this is a question from FR. So you know all the types of fundamental rights. So here, untouchability, it is like Article 17, Article 14 to 18 is your right to equality. So D is the correct answer. Right against exploitation, your 20 to 24. Right to freedom, your 19 to 22. Right to constitutional remedy is your 32. So this 14 to 18, your Article 17. protection against untouchability. So this is the correct answer. Again, they are picking from the Lakshmikant all the questions they are asking you. So very easy question. Next question. The preamble to the Constitution of India is, so this is a very subjective question. So there is a subjectivity between two options, what is correct. So ultimately UPSC will decide when in this one when they will release the key, they will tell. So one thing is very clear, the Keshwanand Bharti case. So in this case, Supreme Court has given a verdict that your preamble is part of your constitution. So here in B, not a part of constitution, you can easily remove this option. So a part of constitution but has no legal effect. So you all know fundamental rights, they are enforceable in nature. So aggrieved person can directly go to the Supreme Court or to the High Court, and so FR are justiciable, but your DPSP non-justiciable. So see, the directive principle of state policy, they are the directives to the government, to the state governments, to central government. So it are guidelines, they are guidelines. It is the obligation of the state to achieve all those goals. But if they are not doing so, you cannot go to the Supreme Court. So it is non-justiciable in nature. So see, a part of constitution has the same legal effect as any other part. So this is not the case. It is a wrong statement. A part of the constitution but has no legal effect independently of the other part. So again, so many are saying A is the answer. According to me, A is the correct answer. But many are also claiming that D is the answer. Since it is not enforceable, it has no legal effect, but D, so there is this confusion between A and D. So UPSC will ultimately decide what is the answer, but in my opinion, A is the correct answer. So every year you will find 2 to 3 questions of this subjective nature from polity. So next question, with reference to the provisions contained in part 4 of the Constitution of India. So part 4, so here first you must know what is part 4 of the Constitution. It is a directive principle of state policy, DPSP. So UPSC also want to check whether you know this or not. A serious aspirant usually know this is a very easy statement. Part 4 of the Constitution of India, which of the following statement is correct? So first statement, this shall be enforceable by court. Again, in the previous question we have seen DPSP non-enforceable. Second, they shall not be enforceable by any court. Correct. The principle laid down in this part are to influence the making of the laws by the state. So again, guidelines, directive, instruction, whatever you call it. So this is the correct. First is incorrect. So 2 and 3, B is your answer. A very easy question. Again, a very easy question. You see, we have seen 5-6 questions till now. All are very easy. All are handpicked from Lakshmikant and NCERT. So next question. Consider the following statement. The Constitution of India defines its basic structure in terms of federalism, secularism, fundamental rights and democracy. So here pay attention, defines. So Indian Constitution is a living document. So Constitution, our Constitution makers, our fathers of the like B.R. Ambedkar and all the members of drafting committee, so they left many things to the judiciary to decide. So ultimately, with the time, the judiciary will decide. So it's an evolving document. So many things are not defined. So Constitution is not explicitly defining this basic structure. With time, judiciary is adding certain parts in this basic structure. So Keshwanand Bharti case 1973. So So this is a wrong statement. Your constitution is not defining all these things, your basic structure, your federalism, secularism, fundamental rights, and even democracy. This thing is not part of your basic structure. Sorry, democracy is a part, this fundamental rights. So many, only few fundamental rights are part of your basic structure, the rest are not. So this is again a very wrong statement. The Constitution of India provides for judicial review to safeguard the citizen liberties and to preserve the ideals on which the Constitution is based. So you all know, if you have read fundamental rights, your Article 13 and 32. So both are giving effect to this statement. So both the statements is mentioning judicial review. So in Constitution, this term judicial review, they have not explicitly mentioned this term judicial review, but it is a very general statement. The Constitution of India provides for judicial review. So of course it's provided through Article 13 and 32 to safeguard the citizen liberty, and this is a true statement. So B, 2 only is the correct answer. So again, so that is the reason in the examination hall you have to be extremely calm. This thing define very minor details. You have to identify when they are, when UPSC is playing the tricks and when they are manipulating. So it is like, if you have clarity, then you can easily eliminate this statement. So next question. Consider the following statement: the President of India can summon a session of Parliament at such place as he or she thinks fit. Second statement: the Constitution of India provides for 3 sessions. See, the Constitution of India provides for 3 sessions of the Parliament in a year, but it is not mandatory. It is not mandatory to conduct all 3 sessions. So what Constitution is saying? So according to Constitution, 2 sessions. So between 2 sessions, the duration, the time should not exceed 6 months. So this is what Constitution is explicitly saying. But it is a convention, a norm, that we have this 3 sessions. Your like monsoon session, winter, summer session, so budget session, 3 sessions of Parliament. But in Constitution, it is not explicitly mentioning about 3 sessions. It is a convention. This is what Constitution is mentioned this thing. So between 2 sessions, the time should not exceed 6 months. So again, this is a wrong statement. So see, so like when you read for the first time, for a layman, this might appear, this can be a true statement, but again, it's not a true statement. So the 3 sessions is a convention, a norm, not mentioned in Constitution. So President of India first is a correct statement. President can do. So A is the answer, 1 only. Again, I would say it's a very easy question, a very easy question. If you have clarity, then you can easily solve this question. So next question. Consider the following statement. According to the Constitution of India, a person who is eligible to vote can be made a minister in a state for 6 months, even if he or she is not a member of that state. Okay. Second, according to the Representation of People's Act 19. So first we'll discuss this. So again, this is a very subjective question. So many people, many experts say this is a correct statement. I feel it's, even I feel like if you read in the general sense, it's a correct statement. But here, any person who is eligible to vote. So the voting age is 18 plus, can be made a minister. So if you want to be a minister, you have to be part of your Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. So or your state legislative assembly. So for Lok Sabha and your state legislative assembly, the minimum age is 25 years. For Rajya Sabha, the minimum age is 30 years. So here they are saying, according to the Constitution of India, a person who is eligible to vote. So we can also include all those people who are between this range, 18 to 24. So if we interpret this statement in the general sense, this is a true statement. Because if you are a citizen of India and if you can vote, you can be, you can contest the election, you can be the MLA, MP, and you can be the minister. But again, so ultimately UPSC will decide. So what UPSC is interpreting this statement. So we have to wait for that. Ultimately UPSC will give a call. So according to me, if I consider it in a general sense, this is a true statement. Statement number 2, according to the Representation of People's Act, so this has been in news. This has been in news for quite a lot, like for a long time now. Even in the previous year, this was in news. RPA 1951. So it is often in news. A person convicted of a criminal offence and sentenced to imprisonment for 5 years is permanently disqualified from contesting an election even after his release from the prison. So here the thing is 6 years. That person cannot contest election for 6 years, not permanent. So this is something which even in your mains answer you write this thing. So they should make it mandatory. A person with criminal cases cannot contest election in future. So this is not only 6 years is according to current provision of that person cannot contest election for 6 years only. So again, it's a false statement. So one only A is the answer. So I would say it's a moderate question. So this question is not from the conventional polity. Usually you expect question from RPA in mains. Usually you don't expect a question in prelims, but they were asked in the previous year. So again, one only is the answer, a moderate question. But if you have read the newspaper, if you are following the news, you can easily solve this question. Next question. Other than the fundamental rights, which of the following part of the Constitution of India reflects the principle and the provision of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights? So even this convention, it was in news due to many different humanitarian crises around the world. So that's why they asked the question, not a conventional polity question, but again. So your preamble, again you see the preamble is a preface of your constitution. You talk about justice, rights, equality, everything. So preamble is a part. DPS means again, it is that which is the following part of the constitution reflect the principle of universal. So again it is talking about dignity, equality and fundamental duties. So in fundamental duty 51A there is a term called dignity of an individual and fraternity. So dignity, this term, this is associated with this convention, this international declaration. So all D is the answer, all are correct. But previously many were confused between this 1 and 2, A and D. But again, fundamental duty is part of, like it can reflect, its principle reflect this convention. So also all three are correct. Again, this was not a conventional question, unconventional question. But if you apply some common sense, if you know this fact, you can easily solve this question. So again, I would say a moderate question. So till now, all the questions which we have covered, either they are easy or only 2-3 questions of this type, the moderate. Next question, consider the following statement. Even the Aadhaar, so Aadhaar has been in use since last 4-5 years, 2016. Aadhaar metadata cannot be stored for more than 3 months. State cannot enter into any contract with private corporation for sharing of Aadhaar data. So Aadhaar is mandatory for obtaining insurance product. So the last year, the Supreme Court gave a verdict. So if anyone had gone through that verdict, they know this is a wrong statement. It is not mandatory to obtaining insurance product. Aadhaar is mandatory for getting benefit funded out of this consolidated fund of India. So it is a true statement. Even in the verdict, Supreme Court has mentioned this. So if you eliminate third statement, you are left with 1 and 4 and 2 and 4. So your 4 is a correct statement, and this is incorrect statement. Statement number 1. You can store more than 3 months. So this is again an incorrect statement. So 2 and 4 is the answer. Your B. Again, I would say it's a moderate to difficult question. Usually students are not expecting such kind of question in prelims from polity. And also this news, this Aadhaar has been in news, but they asked question due to the Supreme Court verdict. So they would link the current affairs with the static part. So a moderate question, but if you have knowledge about this, you can easily solve this question. So you can eliminate this too, but you might be confused between this 2 and 4 and 1 and 4. So next question. In India, legal service authorities provide free legal service to which of the following type of citizens? Again, this was like kind of a googly. No one would have thought the UPSC can ask certain kind of question. So not a conventional question again. Person with an annual income of less than 1 lakh rupees, transgender with annual income of less than 2 lakh, member of the other backward classes, OBC with an annual income of 3 lakh, and all citizen or senior citizen. So very unconventional question, I would say, sir. It was a difficult question. So like one way of solving this question, if you don't know about this, if you have not read this, so this all, I have told you, this all only 90% of the case such statements are false. So if you go with that logic, with that principle, then you can eliminate this one. And again, all citizens are not covered under this free legal service. So 4, you are left with A and C, 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. So person with annual income of less than 1 lakh, it is included. So they will get free legal service. NALSA, so it will provide, they will provide. So A is the correct statement. Transgender with annual income of less than 2 lakh, again it is covered. This OBC with less than 3, it is an incorrect statement. So 1 and 2 is the answer. So most of the people can, the aspirants can eliminate, can remove this B and D, but they might be confused with A and C. So 50-50, so you have to go with your gut feeling sometimes. But A is the answer, 1 and 2. So this was, I think, the only 1-2 question are remaining. No, so we have completed all the 15 questions from polity. So here you observe one pattern that out of these 14, 10 questions are of easy category, very easy questions, conceptual question from the Lakshmikant, from the NCERT, directly from the Lakshmikant. They are asking questions from fundamental rights, your DPSP, from Parliament. So these are the part 3 of the Constitution, part 4, Parliament is a very long chapter in your Lakshmikant. All these 3 things, your preamble, these things are very important for your prelims perspective. The concept of parliamentary system, presidential system. So you must have conceptual clarity in this subject. It's a very certain subject from where you can score easily 20 to 25 marks, easily. A well-read person can make at least 13 to 14 correct out of this 15 question. So again, here the conversion is very high. You can easily convert the questions from polity, which you cannot do in different subjects. So I would advise you to go through Lakshmikant and your NCERTs 2 to 3 times, or at least 2 times before your examination. So these are all this type of question they are asking. So we have seen those 15 environment question, 12 science and tech question, and 15 polity question. Total 42 questions. So the purpose of this exercise, so they are not going to ask the same questions, but it is a moral boosting exercise for all of you who are preparing right now. So this kind of question they are asking. So we, Believer Science Academy, we are located in Bangalore, in BTM layout. So we are available in all this social media. We are available on Telegram. You can follow us on Telegram. You can join our channel. Every day we upload important or current affairs articles, editorials, quiz. So you can follow. We are also on Instagram and Facebook. You can follow, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like the video and share it with your friends. All those friends who are preparing this time, because it is still we will release some 7 to 8 videos for your prelims 2021, and it is going to be a very important series for your preparation. So I'll see you in the next session. So thank you so much.